So hi, this is the SecT interview stream. We're almost to the end of this conference. We have
Anastasios
here with us today, and you were talking about
nation states.
Nation states,
which is always interesting.
Yeah,
and
especially since we have so many representatives from different agencies
here
at the conference.
Because we're at the Swedish capital, so we have a lot of you weird guys and girls out there.
I even talked about the encryption appliance and so on. You have some of those sponsoring the conference.
Sure.
Probably they will not be that happy.
No, but it is like a lot of things happened after Snowden's leak, of course. Then we sort of got the public got a really good insight in how shady and corrupt internet has
and
evolved.
Not only that, I would say there are lots of employees that are retiring now when they are going out and they are speaking about, let's say, not everything that they did, but if you have the context and you can put the piece together, you can easily see where they are going. So, 10 years ago, those employees would be active in sites so they could not talk about, but now they are retiring and you get a lot of more insights into what's happening.
Yeah.
And
another thing I was really impressed about was that this is just your pet project. This has nothing to do with what you do for a living. But it's been quite a few years that you've spent researching this.
So as I mentioned, it was interesting. I started from the offensive side of security, and quickly I realized some of the things I was doing they were ending up in the hands of those people. Yeah. It didn't take rocket science to figure it out. Then I learned some of the people I was working with. They are moving to that direction. So I had to make this decision and I moved to the blue team side. So I have seen some of that, but I was never in an intelligence agency. I never had a clearance. So it is all pure research and I really enjoy that. And then I also started looking at the historical espionage part. And this is when I started seeing the correlations that, for instance, as I mentioned, supply chain. Yeah. This has been happening for so long that now it's moving to cyber, but intelligence agencies have been setting up front companies and acquire companies to target the customers for decades.
Yeah. No, we've seen a lot of that. And the one thing that sprung to my mind when I watched your talk now was the alleged Supermicro. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
But that was not ever confirmed, right? No one found anything.
Yeah, I don't buy that because I have spent lots of time, and also as a professional, because at that point...
I know that you are the right guy to ask about this.
I was still doing infrastructure security at Booting, and at that point we were assessing some Supermicro servers. I cannot say if we use them or not, but we were assessing them. And of course we're this is true, that's a big thing. So I had also a lot of interactions directly with the vendor, and I also talked with a lot of people in other companies, big companies, that they were looking to that. No one was able to find anything. Even companies that have amazing hardware reverse engineering capabilities. Nothing.
And I actually knew one of those researchers that they X-rayed the actual chipset, and they could not. They couldn't say it, but when we had the discussions, they told me that we have not found any traces of this.
Yeah, and also the images that they were in the article, I don't remember, it was a specific module of the server, I don't remember which module, that the only way to get something useful, it was 2 or 3 specific spots. Everything else
was it, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of flaws, but I think it was only a thing. A lot of people think that was a stock thing.
That's what I was going to say, because we were discussing this on the security podcast we have, and we all were fairly convinced that this was someone shorting the stock and making money.
And when we're talking about implants and stuff, my opinion of this is that the supply, not the supply, the device, like a firewall, for example, the longevity of that one, the cycle is long. So if you come up with a firewall, that has to live for 10 years. In order to be beneficial, right? It has to be there, otherwise it will not be a return of investment. And then you don't want to spend money recursively putting more money into that black hole. Hence, you will have old PHP, old Java, libs and whatnot, and that will be a pretty easy. If you have the source code, you will be able to create an exploit.
And also
and that will happen, I guess.
The most advanced hardware implants that we have seen. It wasn't like that. There was a catalog that I think it was leaked by the EFF, that is the NSA ARNT catalog, Advanced Network Tool or something. that has all sorts of hardware implants. And you could see, for instance, it is like an entire BMC module that you replace the other one, you put this one, and now you have a back door. Or it is like an RJ45 socket that in there it has like a beacon that you can catch it remotely with an RF scanner and read through that. But yeah, nothing like that. Even like from NSA, that's probably one of the most advanced, if not the most advanced in that space.
Yeah. So and then you have like the rule of like the point of no last. What do you say? My English is bad. Like which way to the target will be the least bumpy,
resistance. Yeah,
right? A gun is always a gun, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and it's like developing a software implant for one of these network devices. It's expensive, so you don't want to get caught, because that would be crazy as well. But we know, like you said, you research history. Like we've been bugging cables deep down in the sea.
Oh yes,
and it's like it's happening. But
actually, the person that leaked the Poison Ivy operation, I'm not sure if you have read it.
Yeah, Poison. Yeah.
The CIA employee that leaked it to the KGB back then died last week. I don't remember. It was like 90 years or so. So it was an insider that told the KGB, "Hey, look at this cable. There is something going on over there." And actually, the device that they had, it's still in a museum in Moscow, so you can go and visit.
Cool. That would be awesome. Yeah, because they sort of put it outside the cable somehow.
Yeah, and it was catching the emissions, and it was amplifying them and then transmitting them back.
And this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that
and
was 50s, 60s.
Yeah,
pretty hardcore.
It's really good. It's really interesting to.
There was even an interesting case this year in I don't remember. I think it was Denmark that they caught like a research vessel from Russia.
Sure.
That it was Norway. Sorry, that cut off a cable.
Yeah, the yacht thing.
Yes, and then I was looking to that and I was like, what is this place? Like, what is cut cable? And it's like a full SIGINT station over there that's capturing like all sorts of signals.
No, like. This is not classified. Yeah, we have SUSUS, like we have submarine microphones all over the entire Baltic Sea.
Oh yeah.
And that is not by chance. That's because there is a lot of traffic, and we have. I dive a lot, and I like wrecks. So we have a really nice. There was like one Russian fishing trawler that sunk, that got raided by 2 divers. It's a famous story. And let's say it was not a trawler. Like they found a lot of nice things in that.
Yeah, they're really good. Like the Russians have an entire fleet of submarines for that purpose. So pretty deep into them. Yeah.
Oh, it's really weird. Yeah, it's really interesting to hear your talk, and I think it is like living in a James Bond movie. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is also what I mentioned about the spy news that I'm thinking that. What we see is like probably the tiniest portion of what happened.
Sure.
I know for a fact, for instance, that again, based on the leaks that we have, that there were times that, let's say, X agency was running 100 operations in that country.
Yeah.
And we don't see anything in the news.
No. No, but take Stuxnet, for example. Now that we've sort of unpacked that one, how many hours of work got into creating that, and that is only one operation that we know of.
And also, I mean, you know, the different disciplines in that operation.
Yeah.
You had, the cyber.
And when you do, like, there is a lot of books. When you do like that, if you don't focus on the cyber side and just look at how many car accidents with scientists evolved to that, like.
That's another interesting case. I mentioned Crypto AG, the Swiss company that was acquired by the CIA and the PND.
Yeah.
So only 3 people knew about this in the company. And the son of Boris Hageling, that he was to take the company, he really hated this agreement. So he traveled to the US in 50 or 60 to cut these deals. Like, I no longer want to do that. And he died in a car accident.
Yeah. Well, no, there was a lot of like, it's really weird. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I don't mean, it's pretty bad, to be honest. But it's pretty interesting to see when it sort of gets leaked. How we don't really care. Like we look at it, we are amazed, and then it sort of falls into
all the time. Like last month in Germany, there was an FSB officer that fell from the window. Then we had the other one in Italy that fell from the balcony of his mansion. Things like that do happen. Especially in Russia, there is a very interesting interview. There is a defector that went to the US from the FSB very recently, I think 2018 or so, and he said that they have this kind of unwritten law that if you decide to defect, you are in a G list.
We have all these Novichok things in UK as well.
Right, and of course those become very public. But I mean accidents that happen.
No.
They hardly make the news.
The whole idea behind them, like.
Yeah. But when they use like nerve gas and stuff, that that's probably a last resort.
I think
or they want to send a message.
Yeah, and it was a lot of collateral here because it was like it wasn't a perfume bottle, I think.
Yeah, and then they dropped it in some park.
Yeah,
in
and someone found it and used it and died.
He gave it as a gift to his girlfriend.
Yeah, right.
And she died, and this is how they started the investigation.
Yeah.
And that's like. It's
and a very interesting case on this one is a Bellingcat series on Navalny's poisoning, because they managed to social engineer the actual FSB operators because they got a lot of information of who is their boss and managers, and they called them and pretended to be them. And they have like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have like a YouTube discussion with them directly.
Yeah, I think I saw about this. Yeah, that's really cool.
We tried to think all of the contingencies, and we didn't know that he's going to land that quickly to Germany. It's pretty interesting to get that insight.
And he actually survived, no? Yeah. So he survived twice, right?
Yeah. But it's pretty interesting he survived because for whatever reason, it's like he was super lucky. They landed very quickly in Germany, and again, for I don't know what reason, they sent him to a military hospital that they already had like a biological chemical warfare understanding and knowledge. And like, this looks like a poison here.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Nasty.
Yeah, well, really, thank you so much for your talk, and thank you for sparking our spy interests again.
Well, thank you for having me, and thanks for organizing the event. It's really awesome.
We're definitely going to check out your social media presence as well.
Yeah,
with
the only one, probably.
YouTube channel. So, thanks a lot for talking to us.
Thank you.
It's nice.
Thank you.